Here's something that makes sense to me, especially when I see the world being invented before my eyes. But before that, right away, it made sense that the whole COVID thing is because of me. Um, I'm not talking about the other stuff, but I'm talking about shut things down because they've been watching me watch them for a while. And back in Columbus, they were getting in the way of me talking to other humans. When I would walk up to other humans and talk to them, they would like physically get in the way. I was even explaining this to one member of a band as they walked up and they got in the way. And so what happened during COVID was I was leaving to run and do my political campaign since I wasn't allowed to do it from the internet. And I found out the best way to do it was go on the street and talk to people. And when I went out there to grab media attention, as you guys can see in all the videos, I posted the media, all the media, including the alternative media. Alex Jones would work together to edit it and paint whatever picture they want if they posted me, which they didn't post me. We had Channel 10, CBS, the All CNI. They were beside me at BLM when I got assaulted, and it was real obvious there was something going on because like everyone was gathering, and there's like thousands of people there, and like that whole area was turning towards me. But CBS was like sitting right over here, and we were all like right over here, and they were like turning and looking away and not pointing their camera this way and recording anything. And they had plenty of time to focus on that, but they didn't. So they didn't want to cover me in that media. And I was letting the assault occur because I know what happens when you let these people, when you like harm a feather on their pigeon heads. And because I dealt with that when I was 17. Kyle Rittenhouse is one of them. He's throwing up their gang sign. So he that's a staged show there. That's how he gets off. And so when I was getting assaulted, they sent someone in to pull me out and protect me, which wasn't the case at all because that was just the start. Like once you hit me 3 times, then you're messed up. And I'm pretty sure he ran into my leg anyway, so I had already hit him once, and that was the start of him learning that I know how to fight and he can't even hurt me. It was him hitting me 3 times and then me starting to fight back. So they sent someone in to pull me out. I might have uploaded that video as well. That was at Columbus, Ohio State House. And then they took me over to the cops. And the cops sat there and did nothing because the cops in Columbus, Ohio are working with Jeffrey Epstein's friend Lex Wexner, who built the entire city of New Albany. And he's like, he gave Jeffrey Epstein one of his brothels. He is the owner of Victoria's Secrets, Express, other things. And he's also, he's in control of media behind the scenes and directing which direction the media propaganda goes war-wise, as far as wars across the globe. So that dude runs Columbus, and that makes sense that the state troopers and everyone guarding the Capitol from rioters didn't care to guard me from the rioters. Or the plants, because let's get real that black people did not assault me in Columbus, Ohio. It was a light-skinned person with some of that redhead stuff and one of those Tribe of Dan type looks, House of Dan type looks. And so, that's what I was dealing with. That's what I deal with, and that's what I let happen because I have to, because they'll end up like, unlike Kyle Rittenhouse these days, because I don't have another $100,000 plus to throw away on manslaughter charges again. So if that happens, I'm like kind of SOL. And plus, like, there's like a waste of life going to manslaughter charges and trial and all that stuff. I mean, if I took everything in my life to trial that they've done wrong to me, then I wouldn't have any time in my life. And besides, lawyers don't even accept your case generally, because lawyers are part of the system. They work for the government. Lawyers work for the media. Lawyers work for the shadow government. Lawyers work for Jeffrey Epstein. They are Jeffrey Epsteins. So they all work together like that. And so I was traveling in 2020 to go talk to people about all this stuff and show people like the detailed files I have of what happens and how USA hires foreign security to guard their media outlets. That way, when their military and bomb squad is there to run security, they don't actually have to do the security detail. I showed that in D.C. Actually, I was shown that. Like, someone helped me see that in D.C. So there's help out there somewhere on my side. There's help out there, but maybe that was an accident. Maybe that's because I'm like good with the magic here, and I've cast spells that they work for me unknowingly. Which there is like magic in this world. Obviously, if we can control the sun and the clouds and make the sun heat the planet up, or we can summon wind cyclones and stuff like that, then thinking that me attempting to also cast mind control spells works. That's not too far off, because if the sun and the clouds can be controlled, then everything in the world is fake, from hot dogs to humans. So, that's the biggest thing going on in the planet is the sun. And so when I begin to travel, that's when the lockdown began. And that Joe Borghese, related to Black Papacy, Pope Borghese IV, who is my best friend for life, obviously I begin to assume that's a plant in my life since I was a child. So they must have known something about me since I'm a child. Probably read my test scores or something, and it throws red flags. But my mom also said I'm related to royalty, so maybe there's more to it than that. But when he started asking me every 4 hours where I'm going and what I'm doing, I knew like right away like something was up. And then the COVID thing happens, and they start to shut everything down and make it so it's like pretty much illegal to go in places. And then I'm forced to cover my face up with a mask, which could be beneficial considering I was wearing masks all the time already. But at the same time, it covers up my face, and I still look like a young kid up until last year. So that actually brings me attention to look like a model and stuff. That makes people flock to me. And that explains the women's situation too, when they're always with the women. But I noticed that women thing since I was like 14 and 15 with Rachel. But anyways, during the COVID thing, they shut everything down, so I could no longer go out and talk to people about them. Like I was going to tell you, I was going to warn people in the nation and in the world about them, and then they use their power that I'm warning them about. They shut down the nation, and it's like I'm running for president. This isn't a long shot. I'm not just running for president. I'm probably the only president. I'm probably the only person on the earth who knows as much about their cabal as more than anyone. I'm quite sure of that. And because Donald Trump just calls them the swamp, but he is one of them, so he's not going to rat his family out. And like he's always thrown up the Illuminati gang signs and stuff. And so Barack, obviously, he's part of that too, because that's where that name Barack comes from, B-R-A-K. And so, it's kind of like, really like, I am one of the most powerful people in this world. I am the most poisonous person to the cabal in this world there is, because I know more about them than anything. But I found out there's more than that. There's something else to me. How does the world appear around me? Like it's literally like being invented when I go to certain places. These buildings are like 200 years old, but yet I ask questions. I turn the corner, and it's like carved in the building, or written on a sign, or it's the number of the building, and it'll begin answering my questions and stuff, or pointing out stuff to me. And I assume like I'm probably inventing stuff like this around me too. It makes me want to not talk about this stuff, but it's too late because I'm pretty sure that part of the game exists where there's like an evil cabal who has taken over the land, and you got to destroy him to free the land and stuff like that. So, like I'm assuming at this point, like that's all like part of it. And then I learned to use magic, and I'm a warrior. I learned to become a warrior. And unfortunately, like I can't just go around with my sword. At least I haven't pushed that. I want to test that. But I don't at the same time because that could be like a final mistake. But if I do it like in the right places, it will get me all the media attention in the world. And then if I do it in the right places and it gets me no media attention, then that'll answer other questions. But I'm pretty sure with all the help in the world I've had that there is, other forces out there that work for me. And I'm pretty sure with the hail I've seen, the sun heating up, the clouds and the sun forming images, and buildings and stuff almost appearing, and crowds of people almost appearing. I'm pretty sure with that stuff, like I have like some sort of vast control over what's going on in this world. And I'm still trying to do simple things like summon fire right here. It doesn't happen like that. They did tell me at one point it takes a little bit of time for things to happen. So, you never know. But the localized fire thing would be pretty cool and stuff. I can't say for sure who's in control of all the elements and all that stuff, but the illusion that the illusion that the elements even exist, seem to be there. So I really think like the COVID thing was about shutting people down, and it's like they'll know I'm not going to get the shot. They'll know I'm not going to play the game. And they know, like, as a human, I have to breathe oxygen, and I believe that they don't have to, so they can wear masks freely. But, and technically I don't think I have to breathe oxygen, I just think I do, so I do. Just like the other things. It's like, when I poison myself and blood, when my sores start appearing on growths appear on my body and blood starts seeping out the sores for days, and then all of a sudden the poison stops, that kind of makes me feel immortal and stuff. Even though I continued using the poison a little bit after that, and it still had no more results. I've definitely seen enough stuff to understand that that's not being allowed. Like, my death isn't being allowed right now, obviously, probably because I got work to do and stuff. And then when I get, like, assaulted at these events, like, I heal ultra fast and stuff. I don't really, like, even face damage, like, considering. I mean, if I clocked one of these people, they'd be in the hospital having their skulls put back together. I was like, I don't know, 12 years old when I had to listen to my friend tell me about getting his head sewn back together and stuff. So, I'm like 40. I didn't even know how to fight back then or do anything. But I've always been that way. I've always had just tremendous power. I break stuff when I touch it. I break locks when I turn them if they're locked. I've broken locks and stuff that were locked because I just turned the doorknob and it broke. And then I went to the back door later that day because we were using the back door since the front door was broke. And I broke that one too. It's like I wasn't trying. I wasn't upset or anything. It's just the way it was. So, if I would get involved in these fights, it'd turn into another one of these Joey Klotz, Kyle Rittenhouse type cases where, and I've seen that enough in the people around me who are involved in that. Like the other groups who have all sold out pretty much or are already part of it. The ones who sold out, like Europa Resistance, their leader was involved in a fight and he got some media attention over it, and then he turned into a Trumper, even though I was there at the Republican convention showing him who Donald Trump is and what Donald Trump does. So he had obviously chosen to sell out. he probably experienced some of this stuff and realized he probably got some blackmail when he was when he was in that fight. They probably blackmailed him and said that they weren't going to go after him if he would shut up and stuff. But with me, it's like that. I think they just keep coming after me, and so I suppose like I'm the one who has to do this stuff. And they told me at one point, like, yeah, it's your fault. You're in this position because you said you're going to be the one. But at the same time, like, how does the world get altered around me? Like, clearly I'm one of something. If the world it looks like it's being built in places I go to, like